Was hot last night. It's always hot on the block here at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman Ben Hamin YouTube channel. We're back to light the fuse, infidels, and you're back to get wrecked. With all respect, those who break their necks to keep their hoes in check, because don't they sweat a brother majorly? And I don't know why, but Sil keeps paging me. Big Silvio's back in the house, MSG. He got a good night's sleep. He looks rested. He's ready to go, infidels. It's Hacker Hamin, and we're going to light the fuse. Countdown to demolition. It's a Bunkhouse Brawl edition. Yalla! Yeah, man, we are back, and it was a big show last night. Some things maybe out of order. I'm out of order. You're out of order. This whole courtroom's out of order. I'll show you. And, we're going to talk about it all, break it down, coming off of Full Gear. Big show over the weekend as well. And now let's get to it, man. He's back in action. He's looking fresh and fly. I'm totally jealous of his totally awesome headband. It's the Chris Silvio, you guys. How's it going this morning, Sil?
Rocking it. Yeah, man. People have been asking me for a while, like, where Chris Silvio came from. So I figured I'd explain it today on the air. Kids called me Chris in high school. Sil is my mother's maiden name. So if you got a couple smokes, let's go. But I'm here. Yeah, Full Gear was fucking explosive. Hell of a pay-per-view, including the best tag match I've seen all year and maybe in a while. I thought Dynamite was pretty off the hook too. I got to admit, I've kind of taken a backseat with wrestling this week because I've been so into researching politics and the political divide. But we ain't going to talk too much about that today because it's a wrestling show. But I did check out all of Dynamite.
We got plenty of that. And I'm glad he's back, and he's on that Brosters, and he's ready to attack. It's MSG. How's it going, man? Pull it.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Welcome back, of course, to your Light the Fuse AEW Dynamite review. Yes, I was absent yesterday and back to attack. A little bit of a headache, but I'm feeling a lot better today. You can also, right now on HamiMediaGroup.podbean.com, brand new episode of the Academy podcast is out, Triple D and JD, so go ahead and check that out. But yeah, Full Gear was good. I liked Full Gear. There were some highs and lows. Last night's Dynamite was pretty good as well. I thought there was a lot of good stuff on there. Maybe a couple things I didn't like, but overall, I liked the show itself. So I thought that AEW's been good. Impact rolling along really well with Who Shot Bravo. So that's been good.
Rascals leaving. I heard the Stooges Rascals are going to NXT, man. We were hoping maybe AEW. Yeah, I know.
That sucks because that's the stoner gimmick's over. They're not going to pull that off in WWE.
Yeah. Unless they put them with Riddle and they lean into it full because 5 states just got weed. They could do it, and those guys could pull it off. But that was. When I heard that in the Stooge report today, I was like, good for them. I'm glad they're getting full-time contracts as young guys, but I just want to see the best scene work there can be. But they'll be in the hands, hopefully, of Paradise Jimmy, Silvio's former partner.
Back with them, right?
Anybody who's working with that guy, he's going to get the best out of you. There's no doubt about that. So congrats and moving on. That's just how it is in wrestling. You got to You don't want to wear out your welcome. You want to leave while you're hot and make them want more. They want you to come back. So good on those young fellas, man. Go ahead, please.
I was just saying you were talking about the Horsemen as well. Great episodes, guys. I mean, if you haven't listened to Conspiracy Horsemen at least in the last 2 or 3 weeks with the confrontations between GGP and Billy Ray Valentine, you are missing out on some high quality radio. So, and I'm sure that we have listeners who lean on both sides. So I'm sure you can appreciate both sides of the arguments. So I encourage you to listen and check it out. The show, as Ben was talking about before we got on the air, I think we pride ourselves in being one of the most open, independent media news podcast groups out there. We try not to censor people, and we let everybody have their own opinion. And we try to, show our own arguments and evidences and see if we can compare notes and find out the real truth. So check out the Conspiracy Horsemen, guys, and you
will get ribbed in a locker room style to make you feel small, but that's just the fun. As long as your truth is your truth, it's always welcome here, man. And no one's trying to stick and move on anybody. Full Gear, the only thing I really had, not to go through the match, I agree the Bucks match was phenomenal. Jesus Christ, the dude in FTR with that dive through the middle rope spear up. Holy shit, on a shingle. Chris Kringle, that guy's going 100 miles an hour. Unbelievable. They did one thing wrong, and I've been in this spot 3 times that I can remember, It's Indie 101, and they got to learn the hard way. That's the only way to learn. Is you do a big main event build, you build, everyone's into it. And then because you wanted to add this extra here and that little extra there and 5 minutes on this, your crowd is worn out by hour 4. And then cue the main event, the big payoff. And they're just like, dude, let's get through this to go home. And that was a lot of the sentiment online in the watch along and the live chat of just being like, dude, so fucking long. They wore their crowd out. And I've been where I open the show and everyone's hot and I got heat and I come back out at the end and half the crowd's there and they're like, oh, wrestling. And dude, that was what Full Gear did. That was a big mistake that they made there. Aside from that, the Serena match of the month, hands down phenomenal. Stole the show as far as I'm concerned. And then AEW Dynamite, good show, but misbooked again. You can't be having guys. The Bunkhouse match was badass. You close with that. You can't be getting color in segment 2 and then go, follow that, boys. No one's going to be able to go out there unless they cut their hand off with a machete and there's more blood spraying everywhere. So great intentions, wrong booking on some things, but great performances and great effort by everybody involved on both shows so far. But I want to talk about an even bigger and greater effort before we get into that. I want the Stooge report on Jenna Van Muscle's Genocide. We want to say congratulations. We've been following all her progress, all her social media, Genocide, and she's been working her ass off. You can go see her, beautiful self stuff, squatting 375 and doing Muay Thai kicks and running up and playing with the kids in the neighborhood while they chase her like Rocky. All this
Modern
stuff.
day Rocky.
Yeah. Absolutely. And now she has her shot on AEW Dark, and we couldn't be more proud of her and want to say congratulations to you both.
Thank you. And we've had a lot of support flooding in from that appearance. I'm a little bit biased for obvious reasons, but from an objective standpoint, I thought she shined extremely brightly. And I work with her constantly on details, so I'm watching this being proud of her, but I'm also watching with the coach's eye to say, hey, tighten this, tighten that. But I was very impressed from that standpoint, as there were very few. There's always something everyone can do better, but there were very few things in there that I could really pick apart. What she did was she had a short situation, a short amount of time, and made every second count. Mm-hmm. And that's what you need to do when you get big opportunities. So right. She did a great job. The online community has been supporting her, and I appreciate that. She was in attendance last night. So nice. Let's hope the trend continues. I think the fans would love to see more of her. HMG fam out there, if you checked out the match, and you liked it, let her know about it. If you didn't check out the match, go on YouTube and check it out, because I think she did a hell of a job.
Absolutely. Leave a great comment, thumbs it up, and tweet it out, put it out to Con, say this girl's got money written all over. We want more of her. Absolutely. And we do, because that's somebody you can follow her work ethic, and there's no replacement for that. You can't teach that. You either got it or you don't, and she does. So why wouldn't they go and look at everything she's got going on and say, this is somebody we want on our squad? I know, absolutely. She can toe the line anytime. So, and she's got the best team behind her. Not just HMG, but Silvio, Seidel, Academy, the whole nine, man. So awesome job. Congratulations again to you both.
Yeah, and before we get into any more like full gear recaps, also wanted to, you were talking about the 4 hours, they were live as far as the pay-per-view itself. So for those who are unaware, if you're not, you should join the Hamin Media Discord. For all 4 hours, I streamed the AEW pay-per-view. We had about 10 guys in there. Probably I'd say about 30 to 40 minutes in, everybody started to feel comfortable and everybody started conversing, and it was a really good time. But I got to tell you, 4 straight hours, Jesus, Ben, I don't know how you do it 15 hours a week and watch all that content. because I was beat like at 2.5 hours. I was ready to tap out. Just
Raw is like me being back in Guantanamo Bay, bro. Like I was hoping to be waterboarded during Raw to make the pain. It was that brutal. There was 30 seconds of worthy content on Raw this week. So that's what we do it here for. But I'm not going to bitch. That's a Russo brand.
No, but I'll bitch for you. So please, for God's sakes, if Ben is online this much, guys, make sure you're buying ProWrestlingTees.com/Ben Hamin. All the support, everybody here from Silvio to Dr. Ted, the Man Beast, who's got a shirt up there now called I'm Back. Greek God, Papa Don, Big Sal, BWO Stevie. Of course, donate bits. Donate some bits right now. Do it. Support.
I like the shill, man, for sure. And I just uploaded some new videos to patreon.com/Hamin Media Group. Some good watch along stuff there. Ryback versus Anthony Bravado. And, it's just all going well. I'm just very pleased. Oh, actually, here's a hot breaking news.
Damn it, I don't have the melodica. Damn it. Sorry.
Stooge report. Where's the Stooge report? Fucking slide. Chrome tab. It is official. Let's see.
Are we getting a brand new t-shirt?
Loading.
Brand new t-shirt. Oh my goodness.
Ooh, the new Culture Vulture shirt. I believe
the Culture Vulture shirt
is available now, so you can get the Culture Vulture shirt at ProWrestlingTees.com. I asked them to make the price $19.84, but they won't change my prices back. Some shirts are $19.84. They got a new system, and that's it. But if they got that up, I also put in the notes for ProWrestlingTees.com/Hamin Media Group store. So hopefully we'll have that up and running here pretty quick as well, you guys. Sil, go ahead. We've cut you off too many times.
Beautiful shirt. Yeah, great stuff. What's the deal with HMGgames.com? Any updates there?
I have a story on that. I know what you're talking about, but go ahead.
I don't know. You guys got your own little side thing going with HMG?
No, I've heard the development of the new game called Tracking Ben Hamin. That's going to be available on.
Yeah, dude, I already got that.
I just stooched that.
That's on my phone. It's every app that you have pretty much at this point. So
no, this app tracks you specifically. We have retrofitted and we have reverse engineered your app that tracks us so we can track you.
All right, well, come find me then. See,
it's like Alec Baldwin and Shitter. You're going to be the only one that has it in your head, so we know your thoughts, your feelings, and where you're going.
That's fine, but then you get close enough, I'll be looking through the end of a scope and you'll be about 250 yards away. So
I got it on the radar. I'd be like, boop, boop.
Well, good stuff. I'm proud of you guys. Way to reverse engineer some technology and use your advantage. I'm not going to hate on that.
But I think Silvio's referring to AEW's announcement of they've got a brand new video game. Three brand new video games.
Yeah, we talked about that briefly on the locker room, but I saw there was some blowback because they're on that Ukes engine, and I let the guys in the chat room and Stevie go off because I ended at about Tekken 3 and Tekken 4. That was when I was done. I had
PS2. Okay.
I had improv and to get laid and get drunk.
That makes sense.
So they're built on this old engine, and I guess people were shitting on it. To me, it looks cool, but fuck do I know about PS5 and PS4 and what is the level you guys are operating at. But they seem to take some heat from it, but they're also doing a mobile game that's going to be,
general manager mode,
general manager booker type thing. That's interesting. A lot of people, I think that's got more teeth in it than the other, because if let's say you can convert 50% of your audience to buy the video game, which is a damn good conversion. That's high, I think, estimated at $70 a throw. 400,000 is $28 million. What's the investment in what it takes for them to develop, market, put that game out, get it into market, and get it out there? I'd probably say that's $8 million off the top, and what they need to do, and then what is AEW's cut off of that? I don't know. I'm sure they're going to make money, but is this going to be, babies learning to crawl, or is this going to actually them be running out of the gate here? Gamers would know better than I would.
So I'm going to let you go because I'm the Mark Gamer here, and I want to go after you, what your thoughts are. So go ahead.
I think it'll sell, and it's going to be a growing process, just like AEW. Hopefully it becomes an annual thing that people look out for and doesn't follow in the footsteps of like the ECW or TNA games that had limited success. But the one thing I did hear about this was that they teamed up with the director or designer from WWF No Mercy, which is like amongst wrestling fans our age, arguably the most acclaimed wrestling game of all time.
Top one, top two, yeah.
So if it's similar to that, I know I'm going to dig it, and a lot of guys our age are. As far as kids, I don't know. We'll see where that goes.
Okay.
To me,
look good. People are like, these graphics suck. I'd be like, fuck you. You know what it takes to make fucking graphics, dude? They looked all right to me, but like I said, I'm not the main demographic that's going to be the buyers on this. So you got to serve your community. Go ahead, Matt.
So, I mean, my first thought is this, guys. For those who are complaining about the graphics, yes, they are using the prior engine. So you have to think about it. This was the same engine that was probably being used to create 2K18, 2K19. Now, as the video says at the beginning, this is a preliminary video, a very preliminary video just to showcase off the potential that we can do here. It also continues on to say that these graphics itself and characters are not potentially going to be the final product. So everybody freaking out is just riling on or just throwing on AEW just to throw on AEW is really what it is. Like, I don't see a lot of outrage from the gamer community. It's more from WWE diehard fans or our own Big Ray Hernandez, who likes to troll people in the HMG discussion group. Right. So, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So I agree with you. I thought the graphics were like, they weren't bad. I was like, oh, that's not PS4 or PS5 next gen quality.
I think those are good, but maybe people want it to look just like this. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, I think it's just the complete people. You got today, Xbox One X just came out, and yesterday, PlayStation 5. So we're in that technological age where you want the best technology. So if something looks crappy, ew. Meanwhile, I just purchased a fucking Sega Saturn over here for $150, and it's still 32-bit. So like, I don't really, you know what I mean? So it really has to come down to like, how much do you want new graphics, or how much are you willing to like wait for like good quality content? Is really what it is. So, but yeah, calm down, let them make the game. They're still in pre-development, but I agree with you on the general manager mode. I thought that was interesting, having the ability to giving the fans to kind of like book their own matches and book their own storylines and let it play out. I think that's always a fun simulation style. And then there was a third one, which is
I think Jim Ross and Shivani should get their own game, but it's a board game, like old Chutes and Ladders type thing. Like, they keep hearing about the game and it's coming out, and they get their own game as well. You could have the whole stadium and shit as well. You could make it a fun. You just knock off the game Sorry and put the fucking, you got the Inner Circle, you got fucking Lucha Bros and their squad, you know what I mean? Like, and then they just go around the arena and knock people off, and it's a drinking game. Hangman Page could be a big part of it, all that kind of shit. They should have an AEW drinking game. Write that down. AEW.
The third thing I want to talk about, once your guys thought on the game, is what I wanted to bring up, is they have a casino game coming out called AEW Double or Nothing Casino. So my question is that going to actually involve money? And if it is that a way for them to create additional revenue?
Well, I think it's by a casino company. So I've worked for a fair amount of casinos.
Interesting.
So it's going to be like a poker game that's on a casino floor. There's all types of shit like that. They take everything from Sex in the City to Cirque du Soleil, and they fucking make casino games out of it. So it's going to be like
be the man to ask. Yeah.
Well, they're in Vegas so much, so I wouldn't doubt that somebody stepped to them and go, "Hey, man, we can get you in and do a game for you." And they're like, "Fuck yeah, why wouldn't we?" You know what I mean? That's more mass appeal, broad appeal, but that's not. I don't think them making money from the actual casinos and shit. That's just them selling a licensing to be on the front end of whatever poker engine they have, like just like they do with the Ukes thing. It'll be the same thing with this.
Well, thank you. That's great insight. I thought that they would maybe make money off of it from the business standpoint, licensing those
or whatever, and it goes to a screen. Yeah. Does a fucking frog splash V trigger on somebody, and you fucking win $300. Like, that's what it's gonna be, bro. Like, highlight reel shit like that.
Well,
people gotta chill out too with their expectations on shit like this. Like, AEW is pulling in 1 million or under viewers. They've been around for 1 year. everything is developing. Everything is new. No viewers watching that show think everybody on that show is leaving making $25 million a year. Most of the fans are fairly smart to the product and at least a little smart to the business. So give them some fucking time. You know, this may not be the world's greatest looking game,
with that,
but it's going to be good.
Well, I mean, let's go further than that. Look at the comparison of the best wrestling game that's probably come out in the last 4 or 5 years, and that's the New Japan game. I don't have a PlayStation game, but the Fire Pro Wrestling, dude, that's like 24 to 32-bit. It's just very minuscule, but people love that game. So it really doesn't even. It's just people bitching to bitch. It's like that's what I'm saying.
Sometimes overdone things are too much too. Sometimes you can overdo something. You know what I mean? By too many 3D wraparounds and you spend all this extra time on shit, and the action goes out the window of what they loved in the tempo. But yeah, in a casino world, that could work because what casino people will do is they're always shifting the games around based on what they think is popular and what's hitting and what's not. So if you got a Sex in the City game, you got a husband and wife playing slots with each other, and you put that right next to it. Now the guy doesn't feel like a total douche fucking playing Sex in the City, and he's liable to sit down right there as long as she's sitting down. You know what I mean? So there's plenty of reasons to have those games that are outside of just the wrestling bubble of this game will never get over in the casino. Pentagon will never get over. No, there's 100 other marketing reasons why. So that's all good stuff for them, brand wise and expansion wise, and as a look to be okay, we've got everything that our competitor does now, and we're doing it ourselves that way as a new way to generate revenue, no doubt.
Citizen Slim, I don't know. I don't have a Sony, so I can't tell you if it was good. I just know that a lot of people have told me they preferred the Fire Pro games over the WWE 2K games over the last couple of years. So that's based on a general thought. But I appreciate your opinion. If you thought the controls were way too overdone, I can see that because I watched him play. Like my buddy Joe, who co-hosts the Suck My Balls podcast, which is out now. He's got Fire Pro and he does a lot of downloading. Like I was over there about a week ago and I was like, hey, make sure you download the Horsemen. So I made sure he put all the Horsemen guys in his game and all that, you know what I mean? And I was like, tell him, make sure you get Silvio, make sure you get this person, right? And like, cause I think he does streaming too, but yeah, from what I can see, it looks very complicated. So I don't disagree with you there, but that's your AEW video game news, guys. Did you guys want to talk about any of the Full Gear matches more in detail? Like I thought that some of the best matches were the opening match with Deeb and sorry, the other lady,
Allison K.
Allison K. And then Omega and Hangman was good. I liked the Young Bucks match, and then I liked the Mox and Kingston I Quit match.
I did too, but it was so late and everyone's so fucking burnt. It had no flavor on it, man. Felt bad for those guys. I didn't think it was a bad match. I just felt bad for them. Like fucking place is shocked. But I agree with all those matches you just said there. I thought Sheeta and Nyla Rose had me really upset. I just can't put it over anybody. No one should be taking Nyla Rose off her feet. Just you gotta be that strong. She went off her feet 4 times in this match, and then they bumped Vicky Guerrero, and I lost my mind. You just bumping Vicky Guerrero out of nowhere, dude. That's a year to 2 years heat build, and even then she should probably evade. And you don't need to bump Vicky Guerrero. Those are choices that had me a little bit like.
What about the conclusion of the Darby Cody match? What did you think of that?
He hands him the belt like
he's proposing to him, right?
Kinda, yeah. But here's what I had a problem with is we missed Stinger, bro. Like Sting is the key to go over there. Why is dude? Cody can beat Brody Lee, but he can't beat Darby Allin. Am I crazy here? I don't know, dude. Like, if anything, Brody should have gone over on Cody, and then Darby beats fucking Brody in an even bigger, like, whatever. And now Brody Lee is persona non grata. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it didn't do max value business. I'll leave it at that. And I get that he wants to have him the shine, and they had to convince TNT, or maybe it's because Cody's got to go work on heels, or the fact he's talking about a possible political run down the road. You know,
right, for senator, right?
Yeah. So there's 100 things that can figure into it, but that didn't shine Darby the way it fully could have. They started to with the jackass guys like we talked about and the skate stuff and the stunts. But as soon as he hands the belt off to him and loses, what happens? What happened? He gets his fucking ass kicked and taken out and left on top of a car. You just gave this guy the big shine. You don't take it away there, man. Next week when he comes out and has to address the crowd, that's when you get the heat on him. They had the moment there, and then they snuffed the moment out to get heat on him, and it wasn't nearly. It was way, way, way too fast.
Maybe they could have done it later in the night, like Darby was backstage with it and then got jumped later. I was okay with it because I like the way Darby works, that Darby is not one of these wrestlers that's constantly worried about getting his shit in or shining. He does get his shit in, but watch a Darby match. He doesn't do that much. He sells a lot. Darby is a smaller baby face that works from underneath, which is very smart. He did that the entire match, and he pulled off the upset win on Cody. I thought it was a good match.
Mm-hmm.
And the ass kicking, yeah, maybe I would have liked to seen just some interaction with Cody and Darby and let it settle, but I was okay with the guys coming out because that's Darby. He's always fighting from underneath. And I thought it was a good scene picture at the very end, that last visual where we had Darby on the car and the skateboard.
Yeah, but I thought it should have been Wednesday, man. It should have been Wednesday. Like, that was just – the guy just won. He's the champ. Don't fucking say he's going to get his ass kicked right here and undercut him. You got to give him his moment in the sun. Like, it just came way too fast on me. And we've seen this in other shows too, when we've had payoffs in TV and somebody goes over in a match, cue the heels, they send them running right down the hill on them and slaughter them right there. Anybody who paying off business is that feeling of, okay, Darby's up. All right, now let's move on to the next segment. Not Darby's up. Oh shit, what the fuck's going on? Like, no, you're back to a state of being scared, and that's not what a payoff is about. So let's enjoy our payoffs a little bit more, guys.
I really enjoyed the Omega and Serena. Obviously had a phenomenal match. She's our girl.
Best
but, Omega and Hangman, and what I really appreciated about them is they knew they were opening a pay-per-view, and Kenny Omega was very unselfish, and I got tons of respect for him. They had a really great match, but they made sure they had a great match that was sufficient for the opener, because had we got a barn burner Omega 6-star there, then we had the Bucks and FTR later, then we had Mox at the end. It would have been a tough act to follow. So kudos to guys for doing that one.
Yeah, they left a lot of meat on the bone for everybody else to chew on. There's no doubt.
Still had a great match.
Yeah. What'd you think of the Jericho MJF finish?
That's what I was going to ask, Sam.
I liked it because it was MJF being MJF.
It got bitched on, by the internet, as it will. I didn't mind it that much either because everybody else was going to do all the other shit. So they chose that,
It's MJF showing him being MJF in his mind, because Jericho was telling him kind of, you don't have the killer instinct. So he's still using trickery and MJF shenanigans to where he didn't need to do something killer because he's MJF and he had it up here. So he smartly defeated Jericho, which Jericho being the GOAT should appreciate that, as far as the storyline's concerned. So I was cool with it.
All right. Yeah, I'm just trying to think what people had reactions to while we were watching along before the stream got clipped during the Bucks match. And again, the Bucks go over right away. You know what I mean? Right on. Like, here's where I thought that they should have done crossover business. You got Don Callis there for the Omega match. That's where you bring in Gallows and Anderson to come out, and you think they're going to get it on the Bucks, and they get it on FTR. And then we have FTR versus them in a little thing because it was we're the best tag team, whatever, da-da-da-da. And I know Maddie's hurt too, right? There's a rumor that his Achilles is partially torn. Mm-hmm. Let him rest, let him be healthy, and we can focus on this little interpromotional thing for a minute. I thought we had an opportunity because if you're going to have Callis there and you're going to do Bullet Club shit, why not do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's the issue? So a couple of spots ago, and then I didn't see him at Full Gear. Maybe it's after we got pulled, but Big Shaq Diesel was in the house. And this had me interested for Dynamite with this, extremely athletic looking new talent young lady. And then she delivers her promo, then heels and puts over that she's with Shaq Diesel. And we're going to get Shaq versus Cody out of nowhere. Okay. Dude, that's a huge outside get for them, bro. Huge. Like, because that's going to put them on all the NBA channels and all that fucking side talk stuff like that, dude. That's going to put them in the realm where WWE kind of has that seized up with their deal. So, and the football guys having to put over WWE every week is brutally painful for them. You can see on Fox, the Fox football guys do not want to have to sell for it. So go ahead, Matt.
Oh, I had one more story here. If you guys were doing it, this is revolved with AEW. So this is with Tony Khan. So I don't know if you guys talked about this week, but during the AEW Full Gear post-show media scrum, AEW president Tony Khan spoke about the women's division and the criticism it's received. So he starts out by discussing the women, of course, who competed on the show and talked about Deeb and Shida. So he did, put them over. Serena Deeb, who was a full-time AEW wrestler and really important part of our roster, is the NWA Women's Champion. So there is definitely a relationship there, and there's definitely a good chance you're going to see the NWA title defended here. But the AEW women's title is still our top priority. We have a great women's champion, Hikaru Shida. She's defending the title against many top contenders, and I think there will be some good matches in front of her. But I thought the matches that they both had tonight were excellent. So he starts off good, but then he understands about the criticism, and I just found this interesting. He says, I understand what people are saying about the division. I should have probably done better to put some of Nyla's story when she said she wasn't going to wrestle again until they got the title shot. I probably should have used that more on Dynamite. I watch Dark very closely and work on Dark very closely and book Dark. So I'm obviously watching Dark, but I forget sometimes that there's about half the audience that watches Dark for us typically. So I found that comment interesting because it sounds like that Tony Khan doesn't have full reign on the actual main show right now on television. It sounds like maybe there's a group of people booking that versus he has total control over Dark. And it sounds like there might be a little bit of a disconnect right now between the two products.
When it comes to TV, even though if he's the owner, Tony Khan is not going to go over strong on Jericho and Cody. I'll tell you that right now. Like, those guys are masters of backstage, of politics, of having the best around them. And I think when it comes to it, and I'm sure the rest of the executive vice presidents have a fucking voice in it, but those two specifically, I got to believe, are doing the checks and balances on the booking of what they can and what they can't, where they're letting him have Dark as his DCW booking project to get him more acclimated and whatnot. And maybe some of the things don't cross over and they get left out. I get that. If he's citing the Nyla Rose thing, that could be one of, because, you were telling me like, oh, this detail relates to this on Dark. I'm like, dude, you can't do that. You got to put those little bits on your TV show and cut 5 minutes off of these matches that are going way too long and use that for character. But, I was really happy to see Serena shine in this, and they gave her a lot of talking points that kind of showed where their women's division's going. And I think everything they said and backing up and even being able to do what Khan's doing right there. A lot of that, I think that I got to commend him for this. No way will you ever have Vince McMahon go, yeah, we fucked up here. We should have done this with Retribution and Raw Underground and we missed the boat. He's at least saying, you know what? I've learned from my mistakes. And that might be those guys' big brother in him and saying, this is how we're going to play it out and do the things going forward. Not a lot of owners and CEOs can be humble enough to do that and be like, I fucked it up a little bit here and I wish I would have done that, in hindsight being what it is. And going forward, I learned from that lesson and I'm going to book differently around that. Not a lot of people can do that.
So is it fair, though, then to criticize or question why they're not keeping the storylines then separate?
It's a weird mix, man. But I do have to agree with Hamin. I commend Tony Khan on that. And you could see a concerted effort to really make the women's division better by bringing in these experienced talent and things like that. It's seen marked improvement over the last few months, and it's only going to get better. I'd like to see a bit more continuity on shows, but again, it's a year into AEW, and it's a difficult process arranging all these moving pieces. So Can it be done? Yes. We just got to kind of give them some time to get all their ducks in a row, but I think they'll be all right.
So, I mean, that's my biggest criticism. It's not even like the content. It's just more the connection. Like if you're going to say, this person's doing a whole tournament on Dynamite, then that needs to be shown more. There needs to be highlight packages on the actual show. Or if Nyla Rose is coming out on Dark and saying, I'm not going to wrestle anymore, or, she's showing up on Dark more for the last month, and then I just see her show up and now she's the contender again for the champion. It's very confusing from the women's perspective.
Let me tell you a secret on that, because we had this issue too, because DCW was struggling as an identity as just a student show where we, sell tickets and pay to be on, which that's what our education was. So Rip wrote the first one, didn't write the first 22 episodes. He had ideas for guys, but it's who showed up with dues that week got to be on the show, but once we took over and Rip set us free on it, sure, we had our characters we were trying to establish, but OVW, the main show, would have little things with some DCW people, and we'd take the trickle down of the details from the main roster show and play those out on DCW into these worlds, and then those details could actually filter back up and round out the story of OVW. They're doing it backwards. They're trying to put the seeds on Dark and have it trickle up to its main stage show, but when it doesn't, it looks like we hit a wall someplace. You got to wait for the fucking cracks on the main show to fill those in. It doesn't work the other way around. Does that make sense how I'm explaining it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So once that does, and you've got those audience members who are watching both, they'll go, oh, you got to see what they did with the follow-up on Dark off of the main storyline, because otherwise it's like, does the main storyline grow into the detail? No. Then we just kind of shorted our audience who was invested. Where the other way, it's all encapsulated in that. So live and learn, man. And he probably will learn that if he's booking Dark. He'll have the aha moment, or somebody he'll listen to this.
Well, that's all the news and stuff I had for the day, guys. Of course, you can head on over to patreon.com/Hamin Media Group. You can sign up there and get the FR podcast there with Rip Rogers. And this week's edition was even better because, of course, Ted was there in person, and it's hilarious to see Ted sit there and squirm next to Rip Rogers. Next week, squirm next to Rip Rogers.
Next week is another Ted, and he's out there right now, dude. The Hustler, tomorrow's Superstars Today. He's at Chopper Von Lilas's house. He's shooting a documentary for Macho Man Randy Savage right now, and Ted's out there. That's right. And we're going to have even more Ted the Man Beast with Rip Rogers for Get Podcasts in the Can, you guys. So just awesome stuff getting kicked off, building the Hustler Rip Rogers brand. But right now you can get it exclusively patreon.com/Hamin Media Group.
And you probably won't be able to listen to these podcasts for a couple years. I mean, I'm talking like 2 or 3 years, because eventually we'll have the library and then someone will buy it. So like you won't be able to hear it for a couple years. So if you want to listen now, this is your chance.
Mm-hmm.
Also, guys, go ahead and go to patreon.com/RussoTWC and get the latest editions of Master Shoot Theater, as well as the Billy Body Show with Vince Russo, Dirty Sheets, Time Out with Disco, Vic Venom. I think there's some other shows there. Sorry if I don't know all the Patreon shows. I apologize. I'm not a Vince Russo employee, but we are an affiliate there. So you can check out patreon.com/RussoTWC and check out Master Shoot Theater. They've been excellent the last couple of weeks. Of course, check out RussoBrand.com. Sign up at $3.95 or $4.95 a month is whatever it is now. And then you can also check out thebrosters.com and the ZordosOliveOil.com. All right. So AEW Dynamite here. It starts off with Taz coming out, and he cuts his promo. Talks about, the successes of the kind of man that Brian Cage is. Puts over Matt Sydal very well here, too. Talks about right now you're going to see two, formidable athletes who have pinned larger than life and A-list superstars. And, Darby Allin's a nobody and Cody's a nobody, and basically puts everybody down before we get this match going. Great promo from Taz to get started. But the thing is a little bit confusing, or not confusing. It's just hard. So Taz will do these great heel promos, but then he walks immediately over and he jumps on commentary and he jokes a little bit too much for me if he's going to be playing both that character right now, because then he gets on commentary and he's jaw-jacking back and forth with Tony and Jim Ross. And I'm like, it's great. It's great for me to listen to, But as far as for the character of Brian Cage's story, this badass Taz, it's a little bit of a mishmash.
He overexposed himself because he's a bad motherfucker. But then when he goes over to the table, he's like the boys at camp, just having a good old time talking about the good old days, which I like that banter too. But you can't have both right on the back to back on the heels of one and the other, because you're like, Taz a bad motherfucker, I wouldn't fuck him. Then you're like, I like Taz. Look at how nice he is. They're having a good time. So, I think Taz could do that all day, every day, man. Those promos fucking get me fired up like it's 95 again still.
Yeah, and what's great about it is the way that he built up both Darby and Seidel in this promo.
Yep.
By saying, how Darby's beaten these great people and Seidel holds a win over Chris Jericho. So, because, just looking at the two contenders in the ring with someone like Brian Cage, you got to give a reason to the audience to believe in the smaller babyface. So, Taz did a great job, and my homie Matt Seidel showed up and showed out, man. Fucking hell of a match.
Killed it.
I was just going to say, just to shill, Silvio, can you get trained by Matt Seidel and yourself somewhere?
Actually, yes. You can join us here in Tampa Bay, Florida at the Side Dojo. You can train up to 4 days a week. You could be the next one turning heads on a TV or YouTube screen somewhere in this country.
Two of the best coaches in Florida, no doubt, you guys. And obviously you see people are going to them all the time and having rapid success on AEW Dark, on NXT. You're not going to get a better education with guys who can get in the ring and show you how to do it properly, safely, and develop your style from fundamentals all the way up through Seidel Dojo and Silvio seminars. There's no other place you want to be during COVID, absolutely, to get digital coaching as well, you guys.
I'm not saying Silvio is the gatekeeper, but Silvio knows the security guard running the place, guys. So if you want to, if you want to get there, go to the Seidel Dojo with Silvio. That's how
just putting out good wrestlers, boys. Putting out good wrestlers that understand how to perform and entertain and where the money is in wrestling.
Yep. And you just saw him last night. He looks as young and vibrant and as athletic as he did 14 years ago, and it makes me sick. He's still got a beautiful head of hair, and he still looks like he's 19. So our boy Matt Seidel does get it on with the big beast last night. There was a couple things that our Brian Cage overbooked.
You were gonna like,
bro, instead of Ultimate Warrior, and that's, you got to let your partner do what he wants to do to some degree. You can't tell a guy like that, no, I guess he'll rip your head off or unscrew it like a peanut butter jar. Are
you referring to like the climax of that match, that little bit of the built up?
One comeback, fucking let me throw a Hurricanrana on you, but everyone forgot, including me, that I'm 6'4", 350 pounds, and I shouldn't be doing a Rana. So Matt corrects and throws it into a power bomb, and then they both have to double down, even though that probably was not the spot. It was just a fix to make sure he didn't land on his neck. So it's things like that where that spot shouldn't even be in there, but Matty's such a sweetheart of a guy that I think he's willing to give this, that, or the other, and it's not like, you're burying yourself, but it's like, yeah, I'll do that for you. But it shows me the same things we saw at Impact, where he doesn't realize who he is and where his money is, and that when Brian Cage leaves his feet to do acrobatic shit, it's unbelievable. But here's the thing, when Pentagon does it later, when Phoenix does it later, it means less. When Matt Seidel does it in the same match, it means less, because that's his shit, not just to throw it back to say, I'm fucking Incredible Hulk and I can do lucha. Your job is to just be Incredible Hulk, man. And when you're not just that, it breaks down the reality a little bit more, of the simplicity of the story. But aside from that, Matt was great. The falsies were great. The way he catches them in the drill claw. Now that's Incredible Hulk. The motherfucker dives off the goddamn top rope and you catch him in midair while he's in a dive. That's all. Those are the things we need from you. You should only be doing strength spots. You should only be getting out-quicked, out-wrestled, where somebody moves and you take the bump and take yourself out because of your size. No more of this. Watch, I can do a fucking plancha. Watch, I can do a head scissors. That's not in your repertoire. It should not be. I mean, glad you can do it, but not on TV.
Hey, Silvio, did you feel that this was one of Brian Cage's better matches since he's been in AEW?
I have that in my notes. It's one of, if not the best Brian Cage match.
It is.
I know he and Matt had worked previously, so I kind of expected them to do a lot more. Cage is working a lot bigger now in AEW than he previously was. So I thought they worked it smart. And the powerbomb spot, I mean, I think it was intended to be there.
Really?
I don't think he wanted to run a Matt. I think
why
it was
would they
intended
both
to be
double down on that? Why would
because Matt's a great baby face.
Why would Matt double down on that?
I'd do the same thing. If I caught you with the power bomb, it would take so much energy out of my frame that I would instinctively sell as well. So I think
I'd want you fucking scurrying on me to try and get a fucking pin instead of you being there dead.
Because Matt had been selling for a while for him too, which he did a great job of.
Got to get one quick. Matt ain't gonna fucking crawl 1, 2. If he hits him with that, Matty's got to be on the cell fucking and hook the leg 1, 2, and then he's back up again instead of. I mean, I love you, and we can talk this shit out all day. I'm not trying to die on the hill of how to sell on a power bomb head scissors with one of my best friends. Fucking, but to me, it shouldn't even be in there. The guy should never be leaving his feet for us to have this conversation, bro.
Could be.
I get what Silvio's saying though. I mean, from like as a smaller guy, if like someone jumped on me and I caught them, like I would be
a small guy excuse for not selling it the right way. He tries to do this shit all the time on me.
I disagree. I'm the fucking cruiserweight here, not you. You don't tell me how to sell.
It's my job because I'm smaller and I can fucking. You're so big, Hamin, that it took all that energy out of me. He tries to make me feel good to tell me that my version of it isn't as right as his because he's smaller and I don't know, but he thinks I don't know that game that he's playing with me. He's been doing this for 12 years. I know exactly what he's trying to do.
I don't know. I think I have to agree though from a visual standpoint. If I saw someone getting attacked by a giant dude and both guys get down, I'd expect a smaller guy would have taken everything all out of him to catch that guy. But I get what you're saying too from the sell point. So I understand what you're saying from a wrestling standpoint.
It was a good match.
Make them squirm. Dude, it was a great match. These guys are fucking freaks of nature, both of them in their own way. For the absolute freaks, athletic freaks. That worth every dime and probably worth twice as much, to be honest with you. And I want to see them both protected and highlighted in the right way because both of those guys are draws. And if you put the right amount of money and time and investment into them, you're going to get it back tenfold. They both have money written on them. There's no doubt about it.
And I think after last night, just Matt's had his last few performances on TV have been so solid. I think last night hopefully opened some more eyes as far as what they have with that investment in him. Just like Serena started slow. Now we see her taking off. I think they could do the same with Seidel.
Taz did a great job shining him too. Let's put that over again. I thought that was fucking very classy when he did that. Because you could easily say Brian Cage is the baddest and he'll beat Matt Seidel a little fly like that, like nothing. No, he made him. He put over that he's a dangerous man. You know,
and he did that very well during the match. As well, like, and because like as JR was pointing out, as the match was continuing on, he pointed out should start to favor Seidel, and even Taz said, that was one of our biggest concerns going into this match was that we needed to have Cage dominate him and take him out early because as the match progresses, Seidel's going to take over with the the energy.
He said he had better cardio than Brian Cage.
Cardio, right? Yeah. So he did put him over very well. What did you guys think of the post-match promo? Ricky Starks says that he doesn't care who ranks where, but next is him for the TNT Championship. Ricky Starks, there is no ranking, bud, so I don't think you have to worry about. There's no ranking system for that title. So,
well, I was going to say one thing I did want to put over Ricky Starks. I look at him too with money on him. He has they could easily rib him in wrestling because of the nose and whatnot, but he's got like a 1950s, 1940s silver screen look to him. That is very rare too. And there was a couple times where when they went to him, I couldn't kind of take my eyes away because I'm like, this guy's got something, man. I'm not sure what it is. And where they got him right now is a good spot to develop it. But there's some star player shit in there somewhere. I just don't see it yet. Sil, you feel on that?
Stark's got money written all over him on the mic and in the ring. He's a phenomenal performer.
Like a young Jimmy Durante or something, but mob movie feel like.
Right. Big overcoats, cigarette, top hat.
Yeah, I don't need that archetype, but there's something of that energy there. You know what I mean? How do you craft that into something that's really going to be captivating? I'm not sure yet, but I saw a lot more of it just from standing at ringside. And when you put somebody through the camera, there's some people who just come through it and they have that,
He's got a very natural heel look to him. Like when you see him, you just like want to instantly dislike him. Like I don't know personally, but I'm just saying character wise, he presents that very
You
well.
didn't ask for anything more than that than wrestling. That means you walk through the curtain and you're over as a fucking heel. That's a dream come. Anything we layer on top of that can enhance that is what we're looking for in this business.
Yep.
Well, we went from that opening match and great promo by Taz to a very interesting segment with Cody, as that was up next. So Cody comes out, seems to be, of course, smiling, congratulates the new TNT champion, Darby Allin, says that at this point in time that he's not going to be seeking a rematch, that he wants to rectify one of the losses, one of the blemishes on his record, and that would be MJF. But before he can continue on randomly, we get a woman, a taller woman who comes out, grabs the mic from Cody. She says that her name is Jade, that Cody is lying, and that she says that nothing about Cody is special. He's not a giant killer. He's not even a giant. And then that says that she's there to, and she's got someone big enough to wake him up. So next time that he decides to open his mouth, he better keep that shit to himself. Of course, as him being for the giant killer, there's a giant that he knows, and that giant's name is Shaq. And then out comes Brandi. This was probably the best Brandi promo I've ever heard. Brandi takes the mic and she says that she needs to stop being ratchet, flapping her gums at her man, that she should only come back if she sends for her. I thought this was a really good promo from Brandi. And then Jerry Lynn jumped in really quick, which was really funny. Jerry Lynn, hey, you better get in there, Jerry. You better break this up. And then Brian Cage quickly came out, attacked Cody. Darby made his way out from the stands.
She slapped her on the ass too. That was
that's right. She slapped her on the ass. That's right. The Jade chick slapped Brandi on the ass. So yes, this was very interesting segment. I just say it's kind of weird because we have no idea who this girl is. She has no star power realistically within a wrestling television standpoint. I've not been getting any vignettes, not been introduced to her. If she's on Dark, I don't know. So the importance of her coming out and interrupting Cody like that, it didn't really resonate with me. I thought Brandi stole this whole segment, but that was just me personally.
Let me take this one first because I saw some moments in this that I swore Hamin would love, especially the confrontation with Brandi and Jade. Some of Brandi's quotes were to take her ratchet, trifling ass off her stage, and she wrapped it up with saying, "Bitch, get your ass out of here." And then the best part is we had Jerry Lynn come to break it up, and you could hear the faint chants of Jerry. I would use that shit all the time. If it was intentional, bravo. If it was unintentional, do it all the time. He's the one that needs to break that kind of shit up.
He's Jerry Springer from now on, bro. Everything it should be leading to that. Speaking,
ladies and gentlemen, superstar.
Oh my God, it was her. I wasn't sure if that was her incognito corporate attire, but it looks like Jenna Van Muscles has joined us. Congratulations, dear. We're so proud of you.
What's up, fam? I did it. I always made it there.
You did it, and you shine bright, and you worked your ass off, and you proved that your dreams can come true, and you're just breaking through the, coming through the door. We can't wait to see what you do next. We're so happy for you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, everyone, if you like my shit, go tell them to bring me back.
We'll put the order out. There's no doubt about it. The green light's been lit for our sleeper cells, and we're gonna do the positive trolling that we can with Hamin Media Group members and saying this girl's got money written all over her.
I love positivity.
Yeah, for sure. And beat bitches up too. You like that a little bit too?
Yeah, I love beating up bitches.
What was
stacking them up on my shoulders?
If you don't mind asking Jenna, what's the can you ask her what was the backstage vibe? Can we get some insight there as far as your experience there, being there for the night?
How'd you enjoy your experience being there?
Well,
the vibe.
Considering I've been to both now, I will say I had a less nerve-wracking experience. Still nervous as anything because you don't want to fuck up and say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, or anything like that. But I had fun. It was a lot more relaxed, and I got to attend a training before the show that Dustin does with the girls. So the fact that I even got to do that and like roll in a ring with him, I was like a kid at a fucking candy store. It was amazing, but it was a much more relaxed vibe. I got a team vibe, and it seems like everyone was I had a lot better experience. I'll just put it at that. I'm not burying anyone or which company.
You got to roll 5 minutes with Dustin Rhodes in the ring too, didn't you?
I totally did. I try not to mark out so
That's
much, but I can't help myself. At the end of the day, I still watch wrestling. I'm a wrestling fan. So the fact that I got to, meet Chris Jericho, the La Champion, I was like, yo, let's pop some bubbly. You need a female up in your circle. But no, I didn't want to go that far with it. I was just happy to meet her.
It doesn't matter. Believe me, it's the other way around. They see you and they're like, there's a lot of potential right there. That all you have to do is stay humble and be you and show that same work ethic, and there's nothing but success coming your way. Yeah.
Share anything with the listeners about the match experience? You got to work with a really good tag team, and Eve Elise, who has so much experience. You worked really well with both of those women, Evie and Diamante.
Both those ladies are such hard asses. They've been in the business a long time. I've known Evie for a little bit. We were both on the Shine roster. I never got the privilege of stepping in the ring until the other night with her. So they're just nothing to say but nice things about them. I still want to beat their ass, but I was happy to share the ring with them. You know what I mean? And they put up a good fight. They have more experience than me. And 2 against 1, sometimes I don't always win.
We were just talking.
I went out at 1 a.m.
We were just talking about some booty slapping between Jade and
dude, you look like a badass though, Jenna, compared to these women. I'm not trying to be like
I look like I'm gonna eat them.
Yeah, I know. It's fucking awesome.
When he tries the booty slap on Jenna, you might break your hand based on how much she's been squatting over there.
Yeah, I got metal back there, but like for real, I do. So you'll hurt yourself if you try anything.
So I think maybe you and Cole Cabana in a flying asshole competition.
Jenna will win.
Awesome.
I don't want that smoke.
I'd pay it. I'd still pirate that, but whatever, man. We're super pumped.
What did you guys think about the ladies' match last night?
We haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, sorry.
We just talked about Jade showing up.
We're talking about Jade and Brandi having the Jerry Springer-esque confrontation on the stage.
Holy promo.
Yeah, you want to talk about
what I said.
Thoroughbred woman where you're like, wow, let's stop here. This girl could run the Kentucky Derby. Look at the quads on her. I mean, we've been highlighting you as being a standout physically. This girl is a pretty physically imposing.
Badass.
Yeah,
dude, I could wash my clothes on her stomach. It's like perfect. Her set of abs. She's a beautiful woman. I mean, could you imagine your first promo? You step in the ring, your first promo ever, and you step out in front of Cody Rhodes and have to cut a promo to him? I'd probably piss my pants. But she fucking slayed it like a Beyonce diva-esque vibe, and I loved it. I ate it up. And then Brandi came out there all sassy and, oh, no, you didn't talk to my man. And I was like, you go, girl.
He was having fun with it, and she was committed to the bit. And that's a big thing because a lot of things when you're doing the Nightmare Girls team and you're cutting people's hair off with a knife, like, okay, when it comes to let's get down to some world star shit and you can just kind of let go and go into it, as she definitely did last night. Now, I don't know if it's my choice to watch her come down to play a little more ghetto princess, but if she feels comfortable there and that's the performance she wants to do, then I'm all for it. You know what I mean?
If anyone threatens your man, no matter who it is, the ghetto ratchet side will come out. And that's true for any woman sticking up for their man.
I believed it.
Right, babe?
Very true.
You tell him. No, I'm kidding.
Very true.
So, but that girl was a star right out of the gate, and she's going to get shined by Shaq as well. So smart business to introduce her and give her some high stakes right there.
Definitely. She's like an action figure. She reminds me of Storm.
So are you. So are you. Absolutely.
She's nice and humble.
Nice.
Maybe that's a future matchup there soon. Jade Cartwell.
Put it in the universe.
JENNACIDE.
I call them Double J. Jade and JENNACIDE. Tag them together. Why not?
There you go. There you go.
And then you can come out the country and have glasses and hats. It'll be a really good thing.
I know. I look crazy. I'm trying to stand out, though.
You look great, though, and the listeners loved it, and so did the viewers.
Awesome. That's right, guys. You can watch this match, AEW Dark, YouTube. You can watch it right here. Starts at about the 1 hour mark. If you don't want to watch everything, you're just trying to get the quick match in for our listeners. check out AEW Dark, but watch the whole show. There's actually some good matches on here. I saw there. So
Yeah,
I would actually check out this episode of AEW Dark. After this, we did have the Mox promo backstage. There was a little bit of technical difficulties throughout the night, or it might have at least seemed on my feed. There seemed to be some echo reverberation with the backstage promos anytime someone was back there talking.
You could hear it in the arena and it was kicking back, right?
Yeah, so I didn't catch that on cable. I watched on cable. I didn't get that.
Well, there was a hurricane going on and it was an amphitheater.
Stand back. I think they had the house mic on and went further backstage promos. So the backstage promos were going out into the amp and then it was kicking back on them.
Yeah,
maybe.
It wasn't.
It was because the rain was like coming in because the wind was so powerful last night. Like you just saw a mist of like you were getting a little wet while you were just in there.
Right on. So. That can always make for a dangerous ring real quick too, man. Real quick. You can become like an ice skating rink.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad later. Like it just was in this one with the Mox one. It was hard to understand him because of that. Because Mox is kind of already a little bit of a low to high kind of speaker. So when he went low like that with the echo and reverberation, it was very hard to understand what he was saying because of that. But it sounded like he cut a really good promo on Kenny Omega. Did you? I mean, if you got the whole promo, Silvio, maybe you break it down. Tell us what did he say in this promo?
We're gonna break it down.
Break it down.
Back to work.
All right. Keep kicking ass. Basically he talked about how when he first came into AEW, he wasn't too concerned with being the champion. He didn't realize the weight of the title. He just wanted to break bones and shit. But now he takes that personally. And he said a really good line about, I'm going to paraphrase because I don't remember exactly, but a really good line about kids that get made fun of for being wrestling fans, for outcasts, for this group and this group. This belt means a lot to me. This is why I hold it. And he cut such a good promo. I got goosebumps listening to it, and I'm getting him to an extent delivering that message now because Mox's promos have just been so out of this world recently. And it's hard to say this with a guy like Kingston running around, so I think it's just subjective at this point. But for my money, Moxley remains the best promo in the business today.
Any thoughts, Ben?
Yeah, I'd say he's up there, man, in the way he's really getting it. And it scares me because we've seen reports of Vince wants to bring back the Shield and he's going to try and make a move to bring him back. And that's terrible because right now Roman Reigns is doing something way more high level with the Tribal Sopranos thing that they've got started. So why would we even go back to doing Nostalgia Act to bring back the Messiah, who's a Christ figure? Like, no, everybody's elevated in their own thing now. Let's not worry about that.
Bullshit, by the way. Jenna didn't lose this match. Sorry, go ahead.
If you want us to bring Mox back as Mox and let him do it right this time, I don't have as much of a problem with that with being in WWE. But no to the Shield stuff because right now this guy's finally getting to paint with the brushes that he should be painting with. He's uncontrolled. He's using his own voice in the way he wants to tell the story with one of his best friends who he came up with. There's no better place that he would want to be right now where you could be going, you know what, dude, you want to go back on over there and deal with all the bullshit and creative, or you want to sit here, work with your best friends and be able to say what you want to and control your own storyline while you're champ. I wonder which I would choose, for right now, he's probably sitting pretty more than anybody else is in the entire wrestling business, bro.
Yeah, that rumor that keeps floating around that Vince is trying to get Mox back, I'm like, that's just not going to happen at this point. I think Mox is probably done with WWE.
It could. If you hired him back with a ridiculous price and guaranteed his wife a job with double the money again, he'd go. This is what workers do, bro. He should go. He should get so good that it drives them nuts that they have to fucking pay an insane price for him. And then what they give him will underdeliver again and drive him down to a lesser property where people will go, I liked him so much better in AEW. Yeah, I wonder why.
He definitely negotiated himself a deal like The Rock, where like he's going to do this match with Cena and this is the build and he's going to say what he wants. Yep. Like how The Rock would pretty much shred it and fucking go out and say The Rock shit. that'd be the only way to get this Mox on WWE.
And he can even go out and say "fuck you" to Vince McMahon on camera if he wants to. That's that's the level of dude he should be at right now, where he has zero script whatsoever, and he just shoots on the bid, the industry, and says, "I'm in my prime. There's nothing you can do to stop me." Not you, Randy Orton. What are you gonna say? Say those 3 little letters. They get me so excited. RKO. Like, are we gonna have that shit again and again? Call all that stuff out. Call it all out, man. That's the beautiful line that gets blurred between the cool guy doing something realistic and the phony, overblown world of wrestling.
Yeah. No, I just think that he's having a good time, as you mentioned, with all his close friends. He's making good money. He's the face of the company right now. I just don't see him moving on to WWE at this point in time when he's, realistically shouldering the company.
Don't undersell that WrestleMania addiction, bro. There's just something about
it. What WrestleMania edition? We're in COVID times, man. There is no WrestleMania.
It doesn't matter. It's about the payday. It's about the fucking shine. It's about the moment, saying I was on WrestleMania 30, whatever. There's something in it. They get into all our heads.
I get where you're coming from, but we're coming into 2020 with ratings continuing to dwindle, COVID, lack of fans. I'd have to disagree that WrestleMania's name set is going to continue to be long lasting for years to come. But that's just my opinion. I think that
let me give you a little bit more valid opinion on that you can hear it right for your fucking self. 1 second.
I'm gonna tell you why you are a hypocrite.
Oh, damn it!
Mark staying indoors, doing all this crap. You talk about Mark this and that, Mark this, Mark that. But you've got Marks working. You've got Marks on your platform who does shows with you, and you always dissing Marks.
Yeah, well, it looks like you're looking for 2 new young boys this week.
Marks, your platform. You are a Mark yourself. That's what you are. You're an imposter and you're a phony. That's what you are.
Now he's talking about you, not me.
He's not wrong. The answer is that Moxley is a mark. That I am a mark. That they are marks for WrestleMania. He would leave to go and do that for the paycheck and whatnot, and to say, "Meet my mark price." But you are a mark. He's not wrong.
Okay.
So
okay, we'll see what happens come WrestleMania again when everything is still in lockdown and Biden's got us all in masks. But you will talk about it then.
That's
Alex
fine.
Marvez, go ahead. Let's move on.
He won't jump for the right price. It still doesn't mean that. It's like, that's how ridiculous the premise is of how much of a mark you could fucking be for it.
WrestleMania, Maddie, is like having a Super Bowl ring.
It is.
That's how.
I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying we're heading into 2020. I don't want to continue this. We can go down this conversation for another 30 to 45 minutes. Let's move on to the next match. Right. Bunkhouse match. Butch Blade versus QT Marshall.
Still got hot about that fucking guy.
I'm not hot. I'm just saying.
You let that Tyler kick in his head.
I'm not hot at all. I don't really care about that. I'm just saying, like, concept of the nation, to where you want to make the argument where a company continues to have less ratings. You've got people on that. We got the guy of the company. I could make this argument for 30 to 45 minutes if you want, but this is, we could move on to the next match.
I'll have him right out there. You say 4 million guaranteed over 4 years. His ass will be out there pointing at the fucking sign.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but I just don't think WWE is going to be able to, they're not going to offer him that money. I don't think he wants to go back at this point. I think the devil's in the details. If you're not having a good time at the company you're working for, no matter how much money, as the guy you work with, Vince Russo says, is not going to stifle your creativity. And I don't think Mox wants to go back to WWE. That's just my opinion. WrestleMania continues to be a downtrodden of overall, as far as the market itself, people buying it. There's no more buy rates. What is WrestleMania anymore? It's just the name. So as soon as the name dies off, which is going to continue to die off over the next 5 to 10 years with the way WWE continues to book their product, why does it matter? Why would I want to go to a dying product just because they're going to give me a shitload of money and make me look like shit? Or I can continue to be in a happy situation where I'm at, making good money, and I'm in control of my own destiny. That's the argument I'm saying.
Happy situation, making good money, controlling your own destiny over a phony sport that's bullshit. Or you can go to where you can make 4 times as much money, let go of your fucking ego, go, this whole fucking thing is phony.
He's already gone down that road, though, is what I'm saying. He's already played that game.
Not through the same lenses that he has now. It's not.
Okay. Like I said, we could talk about this for 30 to 45 minutes. We could go back and forth.
They'll do it too. Rey Mysterio, did he need to come back and sell out? No. Have they used him?
Well, he came back for his son. That's a different situation.
There's 15 other guys I can name who went away and were bought to come back and did shitty business, but they sold out because they're independent contractors. And when the old man wants to name your price, all you have to do is say no, and Stevie will hold out, and he'll get $300-$400.
I'm talking about Mox's situation. Mox is the kind of guy who's legit said he does not care about the money, right? Like that's been his. I mean, he's basically said he'll live in a van. He doesn't give a shit. That's what I'm saying. So if that's the kind of guy he's presenting himself to be in a realistic fashion, not his character of a wrestler, then I'm going with what Mox is saying. And Mox's mind says, I don't want to go back there right now. So, I mean, if he doesn't want to go back there.
I cannot wait to buy his WWE shirt for you when he fucking goes.
All right. Well, I can't wait. At least you'll finally send me a shirt. At least I won't have to pay for it. I'll finally get a free fucking shirt here. The next match was the Bunkhouse match. It was the Butcher and the Blade versus QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes. As you guys put over, this was a great match, but how do you follow this match by putting it so early on the card? Anybody? Go ahead.
You don't follow it. It was awesome. It was fucking old school NWA WCW 87 shit, bro. And it was fucking good stories. They bumped Allie off at the right time after she got her heat with Dustin. Everybody got their comeuppance the way they should. QT Marshall, I was behind him for the first time, like really with the color and the come up on the end, and Pepper looking at the fucking camera all fucked up and gagged and shit, man. Like, this was awesome. And especially they're all wearing white, and I'm like, this is gonna be badass if somebody gets color. Then they're all fucking bleeding like it's a goddamn Valentine's Day massacre. And I'm going, holy shit, this should have closed the show because I don't want to follow that. How the fuck could you? You know, and she's gigging them with a goddamn fucking spurs and shit. I was just like, wow, B, wow. I like this match. This is the kind of shit that I liked ECW and old school stuff like this, where Dustin is reliving those eras and putting it together the right way for AEW. And that's what this was. But dude, this would have stole the show if this was on the pay-per-view. And it definitely shouldn't have been in the popcorn spot on fucking Dynamite. This was your main event if everyone's getting color like that, bro.
That was my biggest thing on this one on my notes, is that I would have loved to see this match on pay-per-view. Didn't have to be the last one, could be the next one, because it was so fucking good and they worked so hard. Dustin doing that damn bulldog off the stage. Yeah. Dustin went through a couple chairs. Like, he worked his ass off. QT doing that elbow off that big ass ladder. Butcher and Blade being on point. Double color.
So, hey, pinch Seidel on the back of the arm for me hard for that Meteora onto his knees on the fucking ramp. Tell him no more. Tell him no more of that shit. Tell him I said no more. Sorry. Go ahead. But yeah, there's all this fucking high level spots of what it should have been in a big Bunkhouse brawl payoff. Everyone's wearing the old school shit too. Mm-hmm. I liked all that shit. They really paid respect to what the match was before the bell even rang, and I was down with that. And then we go cowbell Snabits into a fucking finish in the fucking end, and I was like, yeah, dude, I was with that whole thing. And I think it's the best Butcher and Blade have looked in a fucking like war. Like, I want to see more of those two teams against each other after this. Right. You know, this sold me. That match sold me, but then I'm just thinking to myself, fuck, I hope I don't have to follow that.
I'd have Butcher and Blade in more matches like this, and how we always used to talk about their win-loss record. While watching this last night, I go, man, you could book Butcher and Blade to not even have finishes in a lot of matches, where they just come out like these mercenaries to just whip someone's ass, and then they leave. There's no pin, there's no submission. Like, if they're going up, they just whoop some ass and fucking leave. And it's like a moral victory, or you got your ass whooped kind of thing. Because I loved it. I loved watching them in that environment.
Yeah, they could just be hitters who come out to pick the bones like vultures if they wanted to get their shit in on guys. And then that leads to a gimmick match where those dudes have got to go after them, or, you know, they get a little into something. But holy cow, the color. And it seemed like everybody who gigged did it pretty simply.
It was early on. Like, he was like within the first 3 minutes bleeding. I was like, Jesus. Like, I put my head down for a second. I looked up. I was like, holy crap, he's already bleeding. Pay attention to this match. No, I thought it was, to your guys' credit, it was a great match, and I agree. It shouldn't have been in the middle of the card. I liked your idea though, Silvio, maybe putting it on a pay-per-view event, because it was a pay-per-view caliber type match. It was the best match on the show.
Just speak to that. What if AEW Darks had their own pay-per-view based around one guy, and it was only an hour pay-per-view, but like Butcher and Blade had their own pay-per-view, where they're the ones who are like the whole thing is themed for them or booked, they're in the main event for that, or it's something along those lines. Just spitballing something different here, because what you're saying is a great point, but I'm almost worried in that 4-hour show. Imagine if we had that bunkhouse brawl, we had double fucked. You know what I mean? Like, how can we highlight those guys in their own way, in their own special way, to really get them over? Because all that shit was good, man.
Well, I mean, to AEW's credit, it wasn't even so much the matches were bad. They were just, there's a timing issue going on right now. They're long. We got into, it was 6 o'clock and there was only 2 matches that had been on the card at that point. And you're like, oh shit, we're in for a long night.
Wow. Now imagine you're on the East Coast. Now imagine it's 11:30 and you're going, holy shit, boys.
I know what they're doing.
Now imagine you're on the East Coast and you're backstage and it's 11 o'clock and the guys in the ring, you're going, holy shit, boys, let's get the fuck out of here. What is going on? Like,
now, before you jump in, Silvio, I was going to say, to AEW's credit, though, like if they had started this pay-per-view at like, I don't know, 4 Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, and it went 4 hours, it might not be as bad, because they're trying to give the value to their consumer by giving them the most wrestling. So and that's their fan base. So I agree that I think that's what you're going to say here, Silvio. So I kind of agree with that aspect. But if they're going to be that long, it's hard to watch it that late at night for that long amount of time. Go ahead, though. So
that's what I was going to say. They're giving Max value, one of Hamin's favorite things to say, in a different way than he means, maybe. But no, they're giving the fans their money, and I got to give them props. They are doing what they said they were going to do. And speaking of this timing, boys, last week, Jenna's match, Jenna went out to the ring at 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So these things run very long.
Interesting.
Yeah, man. I don't know how. I mean, you got to do what you got to do under the rules and what you're trying to do to make TV. So I get it.
She was literally on AEW Dark. Literally.
It doesn't come any more than that.
AEW sucks. It's a garbage federation full of garbage. Well, I'm not sure why you're here for the review, but we thank you for stopping by, Barry and Young Talent.
He's Barry and Young Talent. He lives up there.
Right. Thanks.
Have you watched my matches before? Can you tell me how much they suck?
So after that, we went to an in-ring segment with the Inner Circle inauguration. So Chris Jericho comes out, introduces the Inner Circle to the segment to be able to bring in MJF. But there's no Sammy Guevara. Jericho then introduces 2 men who will, the Inner Circle will make better, or it's going to be the Inner Circle that's going to make them better, and that's Wardlow and MJF. MJF gets to the podium. He starts to fake cry about waiting for 5 long years. He says that his father gave him a small loan of $1 million, and he made it, jab at Trump. He says he had so much pressure, but now he's become a diamond that you can see today. He says he's written a poem, and he did it all by himself. Apparently, it's a Drake song. I don't listen to Drake, but Ortiz pointed this out and says, Jericho, you have to see right through this. This is a Drake song, and MJF plays it off and says, I have no idea who Drake is. But Jericho continues on to say that this is the new team, the new unstoppable force in wrestling, and they will make it work. MJF says that he started from the bottom and now he's here. That I knew that line. But then there's also there to celebrate they're also there to celebrate Chris Jericho's birthday party, and then balloons and confetti come out. MJF then leads the group in a happy birthday sing-off to end the segment, and then we will find out later that he did get them tickets to Vegas. I don't know if you want to talk about that now, or we can talk about that later.
Sure, talk about it.
So yeah, backstage segment later on, where they're talking. I think it was Dasha was talking with the Inner Circle, and Jericho explains. They're all talking about how they're going to be a brand new power, brand new force. MJF says he's got a surprise for them. Says we're going to Vegas. He buys them all tickets, and now they all have first class tickets. So at this point in the scene of the backstage, though, Sammy Guevara then walks in, and he's a little miffed because he's like, "You told me to go to the beach." And he's like, no, I sent you a second email as well. And apparently he sent the second email to others, because I think Santana was able to confirm, yeah, I got that second email. However, Sammy Guevara did not get that second email. So MJF tries to play it off. Don't worry, bud. I got a ticket for you. It's on me. So already planting that dissension there of MJF trying to get rid of Sammy Guevara in the Inner Circle. So that was the whole Inner Circle inauguration. Silvio, what did you think of the whole Jericho MJF interaction as well as with the Inner Circle?
They're gold on screen together every time. And I thought it was funny, MJF doing the Drake stuff and the started from the bottom, now we hear thing. That definitely popped me. My dad gave me a small loan of $1 million. I like that AEW has continued to touch on that political pulse throughout this whole angle. I think it's cool. I think it's smart. It's contemporary. And Hamin, I'm sure, loves this. They just keep stringing that bit out with Sammy. First, he had the long jacket. Now he didn't get the email, and he wasn't supposed to go to Vegas. So what'd you think? I know you like that kind of thing.
Oh, I do. I like the deep cut references. It took a little bit for the Drake joke. They beat it over the head. That looked better on paper. The setup wasn't there until we got to the sell by LAX. But yeah, he's delivering fine here of getting in there. And some people were thinking, were they going to jump Jericho right here? And MJF takes over. Instead, they do another friendshipality. But to play the game out later with the jacket, with Le Sex God, they messed the game up right there. If the second email shouldn't have come through, he shouldn't have had the ticket for him. He'd be like, oh, the ticket's coming. I just had to wait on and get an e-ticket. I'll email it to you. Make sure you get it. That way it'll probably come with the other email. Something along those lines. He shouldn't have had – it should have been Sammy got excluded, but it shouldn't have been here's your ticket to go with us. I don't know. There should have been another exclusion. Sammy makes it to Vegas, but it's by some other means. He gives him a bus ticket, and Sammy's got to take a bus to get to Vegas along those lines.
That would be cool.
So we kind of effed up the improv game a little bit there, where I was like, we missed the highest edit. So, but I like the camaraderie, the inside jokes. I like, like you said, the staying current with the political stuff, man. Even if it's tongue in cheek and not hitting you over the head with it, that's the best way to do it. In a quick passing thing like that. And then they sell out to go to Vegas, which their response was kind of cheesy, but I guess they're promoting their next big show in Vegas and all that. So why not get it over in a scene? That's just an easy house show thing you do where you got a billboard, you're going there. Let's incorporate it into our scene work and make it seem like a big to-do for the Inner Circle. So I was with it, man. And I just wonder when it's coming. How close are they going to get us to the turn of the Inner Circle on Jericho and then pull that away from us? You think it's coming and then whoop, no, he's not out. You know what I mean? They're going to get there and get there and get there. I think that's the next game to play.
So they announced that Kenny Omega and Mox will be fighting on December the 2nd on Dynamite. Now their next pay-per-view, I think, is in January, which is Revolution. Mm-hmm. Would you have liked to have seen maybe a longer build between Kenny Omega and Mox rather than have given it to us in 3 weeks? Or do you think this is going to be the first of a series of matches between the two?
They said they're going to have a tough time stretching 3 months on it. I was like, dude, you can't stretch that for 3 months? Come on. There's plenty of ways to do that and get Murder Hawk in there too, because he said he was coming for the title too. So there's your catalyst to keep spinning things around in a blender. But I don't know. I heard there's another pay-per-view too, but that could have been – I heard something about a beach, but I don't know what that's about.
Oh, right. I don't think it's a television. I think it's their television special. Rather than them calling it Bash at the Beach, now they're going to call it Beach Bash.
DCW, Beach Bash. It's back. Lumpy Magoo, all your favorite stars.
I hated those names. God, I hated them. And I had to call those fucking things most of the time.
We're here at Beach Bash. It's me, Sil.
Fucking hated it.
What one did you hate the most? There was Beach Bash. What was Summer Sizzler series? What was Summer Score?
There was a fall themed one that I particularly hated.
Fall Brawl.
No, it wasn't near that cool. I can't remember. I blocked it out of my memory.
Guys, I'm not high. There's just a light, large, bright. I see you guys in the comment. Matt's sitting there squinting like he needs Visine. I'm not high. So
why aren't you high?
I don't know. Then I probably wouldn't have argued as much today. Anyway, so after that, we get Alex Marvez. He's backstage with the Young Bucks. I liked this segment here. They talk about what's next, and you see, they come out and Nat, and of course, he's kind of a little like remorseful. Oh yeah, did I? Right, we kicked him in the face. Sorry about that. But Alex Marvez, asks him what's next for the Young Bucks, and they kind of talk about, they don't know what's next. That this is their biggest accomplishment in their career, but then they do apparently put over the fact that there's a tag team around the name of Top Flight, which you can apparently was on AEW Dark, and also challenge them on Instagram. So they are going to be getting an opportunity next week, it appears, against the Young Bucks. So it looks like the Young Bucks are going to kind of go on maybe a little bit of a tour of unknown tag teams or indie tag teams, kind of how Cody was doing his open challenge, but looks like it's maybe going to be a little bit of the reversal where the Young Bucks are going to be selecting people, and I'm sure this will lead up to some big tag team debut. Am I wrong here?
No, I don't think you're wrong, but this totally switched it. We've had the Bucks been going heel, and now they win the title, and this was their first babyface promo to apologize to Marvez. So we've already abandoned what we had planned with the Bucks going heel, and now they're back on course as the champion. So we're just going to make them the cool guy champs again instead of making them the badasses of the industry.
Silvio, did you like the interaction with Marvez and the Bucks, the remorsefulness of there, or did you feel like Ben Hamin mentioned that they've kind of switched, maybe flip-flop back and forth between this heel babyface storyline?
I don't think they were remorseful. I think they were kind of being sarcastic, kind of being that attitude-y Bucks, like DS kind of line of things. I can't say anything against them because their match was so fucking good at the pay-per-view. If they are in the babyface role again, I'm glad. That's where I want them. So I hope they stay in that role.
Oh, I like this call out here from Daniel Price though in the chat. He says, "Hey guys, we're the Bucks. We're defending our titles against guys who aren't even on the ranking system. We're selectively acknowledging that we're nothing like WWE. Now watch this Meltzer driver." That's pretty good.
Did I hear what I said? What did I say? Did I say something out of pocket? What?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just thought this was funny because we were talking about the Bucks, just picking whoever the championship they want, picking contenders when they push the ranking system. So I think he.
They can, but they're also going to have get overs with Private Party. They're going to have to face Lucha Brothers in a hard fought thing. They're going to.
I think though, from his perspective, and I can see where he's coming from. When in one retrospect, when we have a Sean Spears match, and they talk about how great Sean Spears his win record is and Scorpio Sky's record is, but then on the other hand, they let the champions basically go, "I'm going to fight you." So it really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So there's a little bit of, I think, mishmash there.
Bucks can be badasses as baby faces. They feed in on one thing, turn and super kick somebody and leave them laying. Like, it's not badass like I'm Steve Austin getting on you in a full mount and beating the fuck out of you. But it's being cool, guys. It's the Shawn Michaels kick during DX at the wrong time on everybody. That's the badass. You thought?
Oh, you're talking about the chat room. Sorry.
That's what you got to. That's what I'm talking about. They need that fucking attitude where they're saying "fuck you" to everything. Like, stick with that cool guy shit. Like, they need to be the new DX instead of just being two good-looking California kids.
I did a little research. Fireworks Fallout was
Fireworks Fallout.
What?
The infamous DCW names.
Oh,
okay. Along with Beach Bash.
Beach Bash.
Beach Bash, Brawl the Fall.
Well, they're bringing back Beach Bash, Ben. So I don't know if you've got that copyright somewhere. If you do, you might want to get in on that.
They can have it.
Fireworks Fallout.
Fireworks Fallout. That's a great name, guys.
All right.
Well, we had Scorpio Sky taking on Sean Spears next, and we started off with two guys just moving back and forth. These guys did a great match. Obviously, they're both veterans of the business. They know how to work together. While they haven't been showcasing the Scorpio Sky versus Spears on TV, it actually has been one I've been trying to follow back and forth on Dark and just online because they're two great guys and I'm interested in them. And they have good name value there. But this was a good match itself with Sean Spears. Ultimately, he continues his winning streak ways as he's now apparently 12-6 I think is what they said in 2020. He's won his last 11 matches straight or something like that. So he's getting victories and they're building him up. But I would like to see that more, that connection, as you pointed out, Ben, maybe the trickle the opposite way, not from Dark to Dynamite. So.
Right, because I didn't know. I'd like to be on that and have it go the other way. Heel finish, slides a metal bar into the black glove, or at least we're using the black glove. Knockout punch, bing, bang, boom, that easy. Everybody else is going to do get your shit in. Watch me do this simple heel stuff. And he looks great. Spears looks like $1 million, man. Best I've seen him. And who was it on? Oh, on Scorpio Sky. I didn't like that they were outside of the ring fighting in the beginning of this. These guys don't need to. And especially it took away from the finish with the gimmick, because if we had wrestling inside the ropes and Spears can't out wrestle Scorpio Sky because he's so athletic and good, then he gets the bar fucking gimmick and whacks him with it and he's out, that would have made everything that much more. Because if you work heat on the outside with a guy and he's hitting the railing and he's hitting the fucking post, well, those are steel things. Why aren't those knocking him out? So let's wrestle and save the steel for the one gimmick. So these are two guys that should have pulled more mat time, and instead they were throwing punches right out of the gate, which I didn't care for. But both these guys, much like the other talents we talked about, Brian Cage and Seidel, this is where you want to put your money. This is where the money ball shit, you know what I mean, of booking, where sure, we could bring in Hall and Nash and spend a fuck ton and Hogan and they'll ruin Impact just like they did WCW. Or we can say, here's 4 homegrown guys that we could get over that the other feds haven't and use them the right way. And that's where I want to put my bet, because those are long-term investments if they're used properly. But for some reason, the booking of this match in the beginning didn't fit what I wanted to see. I like the finish. It would have meant more if they never went outside the ring.
I think they almost had to, in a way. I enjoyed the match. I thought it was great, and it's good to see Spears on TV. And I thought it was a cool little spot he did when he did the sidewalk slam onto the chair, onto the steps. It's just, bro, I think why they made the choices they did. Started with fisticuffs because this beast's been going on for a while. But why they went to the outside and did all that, from my standpoint, is because they felt they had to. You'd already seen the bunkhouse and this and that.
Not watch the monitors, Sil. These guys are on the outside of the match the whole time, bro. How are you gonna one up that? I would do the exact opposite of that. They just had their whole match on the outside. Why are we going to the outside to use steps?
Because you gotta do, like you said earlier, how do you follow that? So they got to figure something out. That's my belief as to why they, or who knows, maybe they called it in the back and did the match they called in the back. I don't know.
Sure.
But I thought they did a great job with it.
We're not going outside at all. They just did everything outside. We can't go outside.
Oh, in AEW, you're going outside. And you're catching my dive.
I'm going outside because I'm blown up. If I got to go 15 minutes, eight, I'm good. But definitely if I got to pull AEW.
That's in the contract, Mr. Hamin. That says 1, sign here. 2, you will go outside. 3, you will catch.
You're catching my dive, and you have to do at minimum a crumble bump.
So I already talked about the backstage segment with Jericho and Kingston, as that was what followed. And then we went to the backstage segment with Jericho and MJF and the Vegas stuff. We already talked about that. We went to the in-ring segment now with Eddie Kingston. He comes out. He says that at Full Gear, the world champion made him say, "I quit." He says that unlike the people who quit but never wrestle again, he will never stop trying to be world champion. But he says that Pentagon is going to face Phoenix next. And then he goes and jumps on commentary. Now, on this week's Being the Elite, I'm sure you didn't see, Ben, but they had Eddie Kingston on, and I thought it was interesting because he was very emotional. Like, he was selling the loss. It was probably the best thing on AEW's Being the Elite this week because it felt real. Because he was like, this isn't a gimmick. This is a real. It's like, I've been wrestling for 20 years, and I thought tonight was my night. Did you get a chance to see this at all, Silvio, the backstage? Okay. Well, I would encourage you guys to get an opportunity to go back and watch that. It's like the first 4 or 5 minutes within Being the Elite. I want to say it's a great raw emotional moment for Eddie Kingston. It didn't. Obviously, he doesn't need to script himself, but it was really good. But then we got the match. We've got Pentagon taking on Phoenix for the second time here in AEW, and of course the second time in a month, as they face off against each other in the tournament. This was an interesting match. You had Pentagon Phoenix probably just, being more stiff with each other because they're brothers, so they know how they can beat each other up a little bit more, right? At one point, we see the Pentagon trying to rip off Phoenix's mask, nearly tearing it in half. Began to choke out Phoenix before throwing him out of the ring. We got back to the ring. We see Phoenix hit a springboard cutter. Then he tried to rip off Pentagon's mask. And then Pentagon hit Phoenix with the spike DDT before going for the cover. Conclusion of this match, we see the match was on the outside of the apron. Pentagon surprised Phoenix with a package pile driver on the apron, and then he brought Phoenix back inside, hit another pile driver, and he picked up the victory. So the winner of this match was Pentagon. And the interesting part about was the after match. So after the match concluded, Kingston gets in the ring, puts over his best friend, slyly kicks out Phoenix out of the ring, so causing some dissension there between the brothers. But before maybe his full plan could start to come to fruition, we get the return of the bastard, Pac, as he makes his way back to AEW. I've been at home for the last 6 months. And he left his Triangle of Death crew, but now he's back, and he's pissed. And that's how AEW kind of goes off the air with a breakup between Kingston and Pac. And I was interested in this. I was like, ooh, we're going to get a Pac and Kingston. That's a match I've never seen, and that'll be fun to see. And, we got, granted, they're both kind of heels. It's two heels, really. So, you can't really, say I'm going to support the hero in this story. But I think it just from a purely, two character standpoints, the clash over the order of the factions is now going to come to a head. And I do appreciate that they brought him back and stuck him right in. They didn't just try to ignore the fact that Pentagon and them were a team at one point. What did you think of all this, Silvio?
Pac is going to be the babyface in that scenario. So
okay.
we'll do a little learning here, Maddie, a little virtual wrestling school. So I learned this from a great producer. Anytime you have two heels wrestling against each other, one of them is going to be the situational babyface because somebody has to sell in order to make a comeback. The following week, they could go back to doing whatever heel shit they do. So in this situation, I definitely see Pac being the situational babyface. He does cool shit. He'll get cheered. For the match, to answer Hamin's question earlier today, how do you follow the Bunkhouse? Lucha Brothers. They went out there and they did some fucking insane shit.
Yeah.
They beat the shit out of each other. The mask pull thing was interesting, but I really liked just the kind of grotesque, brutal visual of them having split masks and then trading with each other. I just thought it had a cool vibe to it. That finish was, insane. It was a package pile driver on the apron, then a Canadian destroyer to the floor, then a package pile driver in the apron. These guys do things right now that nobody else in America does. And me watching that, I don't know if you get this vibe from them, but it reminds me of the first time I saw Ray and Psychosis in ECW around 95. And they were doing this shit I'd never seen. And Ray was doing flip dives over the rail and these Ranas in the parking lot. And he had the match with Hoovy, a lucha death match where they fucking went everywhere. Then I saw him on WCW and my mind exploded. I think Penta and Ray Phoenix are today's version of that. It's something really special. I can't critique. The psychology is different. They're from a different world. They just do some amazing shit. And I don't think you can watch them and not go, wow, this is extraordinary. These guys are fucking nuts.
And they never say a word with character except for Cerro Miedo. We haven't even really gotten anything except what they tell us on Kingston, Eddie Kingston putting over in a promo or what they're telling us on commentary. But yeah, you're 100% right that these guys, lucha style is possibly the highest evolved style of lucha in the history of wrestling. Both of them. Number 1 and 2 spots. You could take Ray and Psychosis and Ultimo Dragon and anybody that I can beat in Japan, any of them, and put it over that they innovated it. But these two guys are the Jordan and Pippen, or even Jordan and Kobe of this style right now, bro. And I think, how do they top that? Because of the stakes of what we know and that they're related. But what we know about lucha wrestling, as soon as that mask ripped, it was just as important as the color in that match. That was the point of it right there, dude. That raised the stakes instantly. And then to pay it back, and they both got the rip mask, but it's not off. And you gave your crowd a little bit of something. Really, really, really top shelf showing. There's some things with the no sells I could go into all day long and be like, no, but like in that style and that crazy Mortal Kombat video game shit that these guys are doing, how about when he fucking springboards onto the outside, jumps over the top rope to springboard on the second rope inside to get his shit in? Get the fuck out of here.
Insane.
Get the fuck out of here, I said. I got no. Nope, not me, buddy. Good job.
Nobody can do this stuff. They got it.
No, they got it, bro. They got it.
I want to talk about what your guys' thoughts on the commentary here for this match for a moment. So, I didn't mind so much the bickering back and forwards between Shivani, JR, and Kingston. What I found to be just, I don't know, challenging to accept. Now, you watched the TNT feed, you said, Silvio. So during the break on the Fight TV feed, Excalibur and Kingston were jaw-jacking back and forth. And at one point, Excalibur straight up said to Kingston, shut up. So he straight up told Kingston to shut up. And Kingston didn't react. I wanted him to get up and slap the shit out of him or something like that, right? You don't fucking talk to me like that. But he told him to shut up. So I didn't like the back and forth between there. It kind of took me out of that, the commentary.
Yeah, I would like to come back to commercial and they're huddled around Excalibur and they're holding back Kingston. They're like, what happened in commercial? Excalibur told Kingston to shut up and he stabbed him 15 times in the chest with a pen. And like that's real. Play that out. What the fuck?
I thought you were gonna say slap.
Kingston just lose it. You shut up, motherfucker. You shut up. Now you shut up. Right. And then Kingston takes his spot that way. That's real.
Yeah, that was I thought that was
a murderous plot.
He fucking put over when just nonchalantly
to kill you
on commentary, and JR is asking me, goes, why don't you ask the kid I stabbed in the face with a pen? I put it through his cheek. And JR goes,
remember.
My God, I didn't know it was going to go that way. See him stab the shit out of Excalibur during the commercials. That'd be fucking great.
I missed it.
So I just thought that was interesting.
I had, of course, TNT blackouts. I didn't get to see or hear any of the off-camera shit.
You know what I find the most interesting about this whole segment, other than the impressive lucha stuff, is that once again we had Eddie Kingston closing out television. That really, really says a lot for what they think of Eddie Kingston. The last 4 or 5 weeks, Eddie's been closing the show, whether it be main event angle with Moxley. Now it looks like a semi-main event angle with Pac, but either way, the last thing you saw on the show was Eddie Kingston yet again.
He can get it over, man. I mean, that's the thing. If they're not gonna have him wrestle, obviously every week, commentary and promo is the highlight of what you're paying him for. So I say put it on there to help him tell everybody's story, if not just his. And his takes a sideline right now, and there's more with the Lucha Brothers, and the Pac stuff was good. I like the pre-tape that they had where it was just him in the room, COVID lockdown, and he's gone mad. I'd like to see something play into that character-wise, where he's fucking shoot crazy, paranoid, talking to himself. What can he do that Eric Young has or has not done in his own way already? There's opportunity there for him.
Gaio in the chat room says, no need to be full Pesci. I'm over here. You over here now? Yeah, I'm over here.
No, it needs to. That's what Kingston is. It's the smile on your face, turn and fucking take you out Billy Bats style right there, bro. That's it. What
the fuck are you doing? You told him.
Fucking. Can you imagine if Excalibur was in on it and JR and fucking Shivani weren't in the reaction? It'd be shitty to cut them out, but what would it be like? You know what I mean? My God.
My God, good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is another edition of Light the Fuse, your AEW review. I'm your host on the scene where the air is clean and I'm lighting up green, the #1 infidel of this fucking brand. At least I'm the number one infidel mark of HMG. Your boy, MSG. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Matthew_Schaffer. Check out the brand new episode of Check My Bows. The Red Badge of Gayness is up right now with General Eric Cartman Lee. You can find that on Omni Media Group, Rat Salad Review, R&R Pod Network, everywhere on iTunes. You know where to search stuff. Go ahead and also check out New Force Order episode 86 coming out in a couple hours. Once we finish up here, I'll have that edited up. And Smack Attack will be up, of course, Saturday this weekend. And I don't know if it's this, might be this Sunday, could be next Sunday. I know Big Ray is going to be joining Rad Rob from the RTW Rewind, which has been, we've had 2 episodes.
Big Ray
on,
also doing Next Level review with Colin. I want to say thanks to those guys. We had to shift manpower around. Be good to have Big Ray right back in there, man, being the sergeant at arms that he is. So, and thanks to you, Matt. That's a great rundown of keeping everything going. So I don't have to keep check. I want to appreciate you absolutely for making sure everything production-wise stays on schedule, and everybody's doing a great job. But to know that ththose checks and balances are in place makes my day a little bit easier, man.
I'm a mark for you, so I love you.
Well, buy a shirt. Shit,
got one.
I know you got a couple of them. But what do you think? You can't fight the weather, boys. I mean, you can't fight Mother Nature when it comes to Brock killed DCW, but he's not killing our push and he's not killing our spirits here today, Silvio. Great run in by the lovely Genocide herself, man. Glad to see you. I can see the marked improvement, my man. I want to hear about the next PT test because I know numbers are going to go up. You're just going to get better and better and better. And what do you got going on with Silvio seminars and pro wrestling tees, all that, buddy?
Man, I got some studs in the work at Side Dojo that when they're ready to get released on the world, my God, that's all.
Yeah.
Now,
Nice.
if you haven't checked out Genocide, we said it many times, check her out on AEW Dark. Hopefully there'll be many more of those to come. I guess the biggest news of the week is I am accepting new students now as of this week.
Wow.
Superstar Seminars virtual learning training and development program. So hit me up. I've had a few people from the HMG family take my courses, and their development's been tremendous. I'm working with wrestlers literally all over the world, in many different countries, many different U.S. states. So you want to be good at your craft, hit me up.
Well, it's not just from digital. This guy's been to Italy. He's trained in UK, from Virginia, via Louisville, worked for every Fed that there is, NXT, Impact, all the way through, you guys. And obviously we're uber connected back end for AEW. You can only help your career if you're a professional wrestler working and learning under Chris Silvio and Matt Seidel, digitally or analog at the Seidel Dojo. It's if you want to be in this game for real, that's your 1 degree of separation from getting an opportunity. You just got to put in the work.
And if you are looking, if you are maybe a representative or know of anybody who works for, I don't know, GQ, Calvin Klein, Speedos, Banana Hammock, Chris Silvio is ready to be a model for that because he is the sexiest man right here on Omni Media Group. Chris Silvio.
There's no doubt about that. No one could ever dispute that title.
OnlyFans coming soon, boys. OnlyFans coming soon.
Well, stooge it off. I just actually had a conversation with Russo because he was asking me about it, and I go, well, there's a lot of things we need to converse about, but the way they look in the wrestling biz with OnlyFans has a certain connotation. But what if that starts to turn, and why would we cut off another revenue stream? So maybe me and Russo might not be posing nude on OnlyFans, but I definitely think you could get away with it and make some of that extra scratch, buddy.
And Billy Ray AOC, apparently he's sexy too, and he's lost his mind. That's what everyone's saying. Not me, but everyone's saying he's lost his mind. So maybe he'll go naked. I don't know. Well,
he's crazy, sexy, cool. And we're going to have a little TLC at AEW as we light the fuse on the LTF with MSG and SIL. It's HMG in the place to be, infidels. Count it down. More letters. 1, 2, 3. Yalla.